Jesus is using the parables to describe the kingdom of God. The kingdom of God, as if you can describe it. Right? More things have been written about the kingdom of God to describe it without actually experiencing it than any other thing in history. To experience the kingdom of God, Jesus had to relate it to things that people could understand, like wheat and weeds, like leaven, yeast to make bread. And these things are common enough so that we can relate to those things, and by that ability we're then able to somehow imagine what it's like to experience the kingdom of God. What's it like in that world? What's it like? David asked Jesus, what's it like in your kingdom? The kingdom of God is like a pearl that's discovered in your backyard. And when you find it, you say, I will sell everything that I have just to keep this. It is so precious. It is a value that is beyond human describing. Our language does not do it justice because he described it in so many ways. When we are talking about the kingdom of God, we're talking about a state of divine love, a state of existence of divine love, an interaction within that state of being. Can we imagine what it is like to be in a state of divine love? To experience divine love is, well, there's like 9 different words to describe love in the English language. There's the love of a mother for her children. There's a love of a husband for his wife, a wife for his husband, her husband. There's the love of something that's so delicious. Oh, I love that. I love that lemon meringue pie. Just love it. Well, but it means different things, doesn't it? Depending on what context you're using the word. So the kingdom of God is like that there's so many words and ways to describe it that none of them do it justice in its entirety. You could say, well, it's a place where beyond pain, hunger, fear, cold, heat, it's beyond those things that distress us, suffering and pain. It is a place where joyous reunion takes place with those who have gone before us. It is a place where joyous expectation takes place for those who are yet to follow after us. It is a place where these attributes of godliness are within us and around us and everyone we meet. So to describe the kingdom of God is you have to kind of be a poet or a musician. You have to be, but you can also be the scientist. And you can also say, well, the kingdom of God is beyond time and space and dimensional reality. Yeah, you can go into those kinds of concepts. And so that it is a state where you can simply desire and it becomes manifest. You can have an intention. And the intention becomes a reality. It sets forth into motion. Where you become co-creators with God. Because that's what God does. He creates things. He loves to create things. And he created you so that you could create things like him. To create, to engender, to to become the cause that produces the effect. These are the things which await us on the other side. And that's why we work so hard to withstand any type of suffering or indignation or oppression or anything in order to make sure that we do arrive there. Don't have to die to experience the kingdom of heaven. You can experience it in this instant. In this instant, you can experience a blissful existence that people have described as like a light coming on, like the sun coming out from behind the cloud, that suddenly brings us a new energy and a new knowledge and a new insight and another piece in our puzzle that we're trying to sort out. Jesus describes it with the parable of the sower who sowed good seed. And that this is, we all want to relate that we're the good seeds. That we're scattered by a good farmer who wants to grow good crops. And yet the farmer is besieged by an enemy who comes in and sows the weeds in with his good crops. So that the weeds, you know what they do? They rob the soil of the nutrients. They rob they choke out the crops, so that they don't get enough nutrients, or they don't get enough air, or they don't get enough sunlight, or it just chokes them out, so that they're designed to thrive in a hostile environment. Weeds are. And they'll choke out the ones that the farmer wants. An enemy has done this, so be it. Why can't God just get rid of all of our enemies? I thought he conquered the evil. I thought he conquered the world. I thought he conquered all these evildoers. I thought he conquered the ones who want to kill us and destroy us and burn our house down. I thought he conquered the ones with the false doctrines. No, they're still here. And our job is to thrive in spite of those enemies and in spite of those evildoers in our midst, to have a clear identity about who you are. You're the good seed planted on the good ground with the purpose of yielding a great crop. Your job is to grow and to mature into your destiny that is already pre-decided by the fact that you was planted there, in that place and in that time, to do that thing. But it's not easy. There's a struggle involved, and the struggle is to overcome the weeds, which can be much more powerful than you. We're surrounded and we're outnumbered. Evildoers on every side. But these evildoers are not just ones who attack us. These evildoers are wanting to entice us to be like them, to lose your faith, to lose your mind, to lose your grip on things, to lose sight of your destiny and who you really are. Oh no, I'm a weed. I'm a weed. No, you're not. You're the good seed planted on the good soil. Don't forget. But they want to convince you that you're out of your mind if you're not like them. They want to convince you that if you're not like them, those evildoers, those weeds that are out there doing whatever they do, then you're the one who should feel guilty. Something wrong with you. Let's abolish you. And then there are those good seeds that are grown into the good soil, and for a while they're going pretty good. But they kind of halfway believe these weeds that, come on, be like us. And they halfway, they don't want to make those weeds mad at them because they'll attack. They're afraid to be attacked. They're afraid you could hurt me. I could bleed. I could lose my house. I might not fit in with the rest of you. Even though I look different, even though I am different, even though I was created for a different purpose. Who created the weeds? Did the enemy create the weeds? No. God created those weeds the same as He created us. For a totally different purpose. To wreak havoc on the earth. To provide a contrast between good and evil so that you might choose the good. To provide the struggle of life so that you might win the struggle of life. I've told the story before about the caterpillar that begins its life as it wants to eat the leaves of the plants that it's around, and of course it has to struggle against the heat, the rain, the pesticides, has to struggle against the birds and the mice and other little things that eat caterpillars. It has to be able to survive the ability to get to the top of some stalk and make it. That little caterpillar has to endure a lot of suffering, a lot of wind trying to blow it down. Right back on the ground it goes. As a start all over again. Try again. Climb, climb, climb. Watch out for that bird. Watch out. There's so much danger involved with being a caterpillar. It's not an easy life. At every turn, something's trying to eat you. Finally, if you're successful, there comes a day when you're tired and you need a rest. Oh no. You have to go to the next stage, which means that you spin this cocoon and you build a prison for yourself in which you wrap yourself in this prison so that none of the other predators can get to you while you're sleeping. But it's a prison. It's too strong. It's designed to be impervious. And so as it happens, the change takes place within the caterpillar and now becomes a butterfly. It becomes an imprisoned butterfly. And the butterfly realizes that its struggle has only just begun. It's in for the fight of its life now, because it has to fight to get out of that cocoon. It has to fight to get out of its own self-made prison. And it has to fight like its life depended on it, and it does. Because if you can't get out, you die right there. Fight. Finally, beats its way out of there, flapping its wings and builds up strength in its wings, and builds up strength in its body, so that it is strong enough to overcome the imprisonment of its own cocoon. So that finally, it can come out of there, and after a moment, fly. I did it. I was told this would happen. I didn't really believe it. I took an X-Acto knife, and I felt so sorry for the caterpillar, the new butterfly. I actually extracted it out because it looked like it was going to die. I took it out and set it on the branch, and it just sat there. It just sat there. It couldn't fly. There was no strength in its wings. Tried. Nothing happened. So in other words, the God who created you, the good seed for the good soil, also created the weeds. And it seems that even though he may not have created the choice of the evil one to be evil, he was created for good, but chose the evil. So we believe. And by so doing, he became the enemy that sows the weeds. God knows serves a useful purpose. The useful purpose is to provide the contrast, but is also to provide the ability for you to exercise and to gain strength to overcome temptation, to determine, I stand in my right mind in the presence of Christ. And in this strength, you are now able to overcome all the obstacles. And you're all now able to, by forceful will of intention, to expand your consciousness into the next metamorphosized state of being. In heaven, in the kingdom of God. And to experience it to its fullness. Not to just die on the branch. Out here. And so this is the quest of these parables. It is to get you to see something from a different point of view, a perspective that can describe the kingdom of God through your own experience. For me, the kingdom of God is like a woman who comes running through that door and says, Father, Father, I got my GED. Heaven. Because those moments come just when you need them. So, the experience of God's grace is a way of where you know that it is God's kingdom on earth that has been revealed to you. Now, you can say, well, the kingdom of God is like, and you can say so from your own. But this is my prayer for you. Read these parables of Jesus and understand what he's trying to tell you, because they're parables. They're not literal. They're parables, so that from a point of view, a perspective that if you look at it from the perspective of all the different characters, you might learn a whole lot about yourself.